The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
I've got with me today Amanda Cooksey, all the way from her home in Nashville. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Doing well. Can't complain.
That's good. Let's start off straight away with just you're not terribly well known in the UK at the moment, although your song is getting plays. But let's hear a little bit about yourself. You know, your background, where you came, how do you get into the music, etc.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and lived there all my life. And I've always had like a passion for music. I started playing piano when I was 6 years old, and I was a very, very shy kid. I would write songs in this little notebook that I had, but I was always afraid to show people because I was just super quiet and nervous all of the time. And so I ended up finding this piano teacher, Ron Feldman, and I told him that I write songs, and he was like, well, I want to hear them. And so I played a couple for him, and he was like, you need to play these out and show people these because they're really cool songs. And so he kind of took me under his wing a little bit and would critique some of my songs that I brought to him. And at the time I was just singing in church with other people, so it wasn't as scary to me, but he encouraged me to do this 8th grade talent show when I was in middle school, and I was so nervous for it, I remember, but I ended up performing and people really loved it and I had a great time. So I was like, I should try to do this, and I started playing shows all around Florida, wherever I could. And eventually in high school, I was looking at colleges and found Belmont University here in Nashville and fell in love with the school, fell in love with the town, and was like, okay, I need to move there. And ended up making the move that kind of started my journey as an artist.
And I think while you were still in Florida, you did work alongside, or do some support work against one or two big names: Dierks Bentley, Kit Moore, Michael Ray, Maddie and Tay. That must have been exciting for you.
Yeah, it was really fun. I had a great time. I was on this little stage, like performing in between whenever they had a new performer, I would perform on this other stage. And it was a really cool experience for me, seeing some of these incredible acts perform and knowing that they inspired my music. It was pretty surreal as an independent artist to be doing some of that. So it was really cool. And, I look forward to hopefully doing more of that in the future.
So what was it like having been brought up in Orlando and then moving to Nashville?
So I went to college in Nashville, and it was just crazy for me because I didn't know anybody when I moved up there to go to college. I was like, I don't know anybody here, but I'm just gonna make the move, and hopefully it all goes well. And so far it has. I've loved it. I've lived here for 6 years now. I do miss my family a lot because everybody still lives back home in Florida, but I get to visit pretty frequently, so I feel blessed in that way. But I just love Nashville. It's such a creative town, and it just feels like the place that I need to be.
You've been in Nashville 6 years plus?
Yes.
So Nashville appears from the outside to be a very sort of tight community of writers and singers and performers who all support each other, and there's a lot of co-writing going on, and so did that take some breaking into? Is it hard to get into that sort of group of people? Or is it just everyone you meet in Nashville is a writer or a singer or a performer?
Honestly, they're pretty much everywhere you go, you run into a songwriter or a musician. It's just everybody here is involved in music in some form or another. And, when I first moved to Nashville, I didn't really know co-writing was a thing. I had done this little songwriting camp when I first got to town, and it was my first experience co-writing with other people. And as soon as we started writing this song and as soon as we finished, I was so excited. And we had a lunch break, and I remember I just wanted to keep writing. I was like, forget the lunch break. Let's just write another song. But I just fell in love with it. The minute I got here, I just wanted to be writing with other people. And I think it's just so fun to get other creative ideas from other artists and other writers. It's just easy to be more creative in general. So I really love the co-writing process, and there's just no shortage of talent here. There's so many incredibly talented musicians and artists.
So that first time, the very first time you sat down to co-write, was it with people like yourself who'd just come in, or was it all levels? I mean, were there people there that you were writing on early with that had big hits and things like that?
It was kind of a variety. It was all levels, and that was a little nerve-wracking at first, but I think it just it pushed me as a writer and as a creative. And, I think it was good for me in the sense that over the years, I've been able to become a stronger lyricist and a melody writer because of all the experience I've had writing with different levels of talent.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. It sounds like they obviously made you feel welcome, and you immediately felt comfortable in that. So do you prefer co-writing as opposed to writing alone now? Or is there space for both?
I think there's space for both. And I honestly, tell people that are just getting into music to do a little bit of both, because for a long time I was co-writing constantly. I think for about 2 or 3 years I was just co-writing, and I think it was great for me in terms of building up my catalog of songs and becoming a better writer. And then there was a period of time where I just sat down and wanted to focus on writing by myself to see who I was as an artist. And I think it helped me find kind of this sound that I've been gravitating towards now with all my new music. And I honestly think there's value to both.
How many singles have you released now since you've been in Nashville?
I want to say 5, but I could be wrong. You just count after a while.
The first one, perhaps that came to my attention was Yo Mama, which,
yes.
If I've said that right, how do you say Yo Mama?
Yo Mama.
Yeah, well, that's, split by a common language as usual.
That one was super fun for me because I wrote that by myself about this just really interesting date that I had. And that's kind of how it came about. And I wrote the song, I remember, in like an hour and a half. So it's funny to look back and be like, wow, well, that experience got me this song.
So it was a dating experience that basically the song is about.
Yes, there was a bad second date that I went on, and the guy got super drunk on our date and asked me to drive him home, and I was like, this is our second date, and this guy's already like asking me to drive him. And I was like, well, I gotta write a song about this.
If I wanna come over to your place, watch a movie or something, but it's getting late. Not to mention it's only our second date. You say you want just a little more time to get to know my face, but I know how this goes. You think we hit the bed, then I hit the road, but you ain't gonna take me on unless it's to your mama. I know what you want, but you ain't getting out of thing. So show me that you really care, 'cause I think there could be something there. Oh, take it slow, you ain't gonna take me home unless it's to your mama. Yeah, that probably scares the living out of you. I ain't trying to commit now, but let me spell this out for you. Asking for my body's like asking for a ring, saying I do, but I don't. If you think I'll run the bases, I won't. gonna take me home. Listen to your mama. I know what you want, but you ain't getting out of thing. So show me that you really care, 'cause I think there could be something there. Oh, take it slow, you ain't gonna take me home. Listen to your mama, yeah. 'Cause I got respect for myself. If you got none, better find someone else. 'Cause I got respect for myself. If you got none, better find someone else. You ain't gonna take me home unless it's to your mama. I know what you want, but you ain't getting out of thing. So show me that you really care, 'cause I think there could be something there. Oh, take it slow, you ain't gonna take me home unless it's to your mama, yeah. Unless it's to your mama, 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 unless it's to your mama, 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 unless it's to your mama.
The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
I think all your music generally has a real feel-good factor to it, and the videos got that as well.
Yes, I had such a fun time filming that. All my really close friends were in it, and we just had a blast. And it was a long day. It was a full day of filming. I think we started like at 9 in the morning and didn't end until like, I don't know, it was like 8 o'clock at night or something like that. But it was a fun day, and I just wanted to capture like the story of what happened on that date and just make it fun and unique to my personality. So
I actually looked at it and I thought, I wonder if they're just all her girlfriends or whether they're people that have, been hired to.
Right. Nope. Those are all my really good friends.
Because, well, I got that sort, it came out in the video because you were all having a good time and the girls looked like they were all having a good time. So that's really nice, isn't it? That you can do that sort of thing with your friends.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like one of the coolest things. And I just think it made it, more natural that way.
Yeah.
Because we all could just interact. And
yeah, I agree. Yeah. Musical influences. What musical influences did you have growing up in Florida, and did they change when you came to Nashville? I guess they must have done, or were you heavily into country when you were in Florida?
So it's interesting because I think, once you have a musical influence, it always kind of sticks with you in some way. But when I was, in high school and in Florida, I was listening to a lot of country music, and I loved people like Miranda Lambert, Jake Owen, Casey Musgraves. I was listening to, a wide variety of artists. And I think when I got to Nashville, I was kind of just exploring different styles of music more. And I've always loved pop music as well. And Julia Michaels is one of my favorite writers and artists, and she's really inspired my music. And on the country side, I've also loved Walker Hayes and Breland, who I've kind of just recently discovered, Hardy. And there's just so many people. And I'm also influenced by older music from like the 50s and 60s. I love Dion and the Belmonts and Bobby Vinton and people like that. So it's kind of a wider variety of music, but I think I draw a lot of my influence from a bunch of different sounds.
I think that's good as well. I think it's healthy as well I love country music, but I grew up in the 60s. And, so all those 60 hits and even late 50s hits, you mentioned Dion and the Belmonts. I love doo-wop music.
Yeah,
I think it's nice not to say, well, that's it. Oh, I only listen to country music. I only listen to rock music. It's
right.
Music's music, and it's all good.
Right. Yeah, I don't like to limit myself and put myself in a box when I'm writing. If I just kind of write what I feel and hope that it resonates with people listening. So,
How have you been getting on in lockdown?
It was really difficult in the beginning when everything was completely shut down. I was definitely, dealing with a lot of anxiety and couldn't really be creative for a while because I just felt like I was trapped and like couldn't do music really at all because everything was just closed and I wasn't having any experiences to write about. So I found it really difficult. And luckily now things have started to slowly open back up here and I've been able to perform again. And I've been writing over Zoom, which is interesting. But it's been good and it's slow and steady, I think. But over the next few months, I'm hoping to do some more recording, release some more music, and keep writing as many people as I can. And hopefully this COVID thing will pass soon. But I know it's been difficult for everyone.
Yeah. Have you managed to do any performing?
I just played my first show last week, actually.
Oh, wow.
House show, and very socially distanced. Everyone was wearing masks, except for the performers when they were playing. But it was a good time. It's just crazy to me because I haven't performed before that since like January. So it's been a long time, but it feels good to start getting out there again.
Did you make use of social media concerts at all, of performing?
Yeah, I've done a couple of different Facebook Lives and I've had some really fun interviews like this and have been able to kind of connect with fans in that way, which is, I think, really special and cool that, we do have the technology to be able to do that because otherwise I don't know what we would do. But it's been good still. There's definitely positives.
You mentioned about anxiety, thinking about social media in particular. It's you can't do the job you're doing now without social media, can you? You could try, but it's what they all do, and I follow people, and I can't believe how much people spend or appear to spend on social media each day. But what I'm also conscious of is it's a sort of a front, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's you're and we're all doing it. You're hiding behind a sort of facade. This is what I want you to think I'm like.
Right.
Is it a sort of complex issue for people like yourself?
I think so. And I've dealt with anxiety for a long time and I'm pretty open about it on social media because, I like to be as transparent as I can with people online because, I know that a lot of social media is kind of hiding behind this almost facade sometimes because, we don't want to tell people about our problems. But I think it's important, like as an artist, to use social media as a platform to talk about those bigger issues just because they're not talked about really. And I think it's normal for everybody to deal with anxiety or just, not feel good about yourself sometimes. It's just, it happens. And I think it's definitely a problem, but I think that for me, I've always tried to kind of create a boundary of how much I'm on social media. If I'm going to be on, I'm going to, work on my music stuff and go talk to fans. But I also have time where I just shut it off and kind of go into my own little world and do my own thing just so I'm not, constantly inundated with everything on social media because it can affect you and you can't compare yourself to everybody online. So I think it's, there's positives and negatives to it. You just kind of have to find a healthy balance.
I'm sure. You've got a single out at the moment. What's his name? Question mark.
Question mark.
I think that came out early September.
Yes.
And again, I think you seem to have a very healthy following on Spotify, and again, it's got a lot of streams from Spotify. But tell us about the track and how it came about.
So it's funny because the song title didn't even come about from like the actual feelings behind the song, but I was talking to one of my co-writers on the song one day, and he couldn't remember somebody's name, so he kept saying, "What's his name?" And he looked at me and he was like, "Whoa, that could be a really cool song title." And so we were like, "Okay, we have to write this." And I had just gone through a really bad breakup like a few months prior, and it was such a therapeutic day because we got to talk about kind of my feelings behind everything, and we just wanted to make it fun. And those guys that I wrote it with cheered me up so much, and we just had a good time and wrote the song in a few hours and recorded vocals right afterwards. So it's a really special song for me. It feels really me as an artist, which I'm super excited about because I've been kind of transitioning and growing into a new sound. And yeah, I hope people love it.
Jet black tea, pair of white Adidas. Walked in at me spinning like tequila. Wow, who's that? I had asked, cause I'm too curious for my own good. Everything about him told me I should turn and run, now fall in love. But I jumped in at first, should've used my head first, should've never wondered. What's his name? I had to know it. What a shame. He hit a bullet now. We don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. Cause what's his name? He put me through it. And now I wish I never even knew it. No, we don't say that word around here no more. I was so much better before. What's his name? Got a laundry list of things we call him. Saved in my phone as don't you dare call him. Don't be dumb, he's still not the one. And we'll roll out my lips like the way you once did. I swear I don't miss. What's his name? I had to know it. What a shame. He hit a bullet now. We don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. Cause what's his name? He put me through it. And now I wish I never even knew it. No, we don't say that word around here no more. I was so much better before. What's his name? Oh, what's his name? But I jumped in head first, should've used my head first, should never wondered. What's his name? I had to know it. What a shame. He hit a bullet now. We don't say that word around here no more. We don't say that word around here no more. Cause what's his name? He put me through it. And now I wish I never even knew it. No, we don't say that word around here no more. I was so much better before. What's his name?
The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
You like doing covers, don't you? You do a certain number of covers,
Yeah.
and I won't say you got yourself into trouble, but you did have an interesting thing happen when Glamour magazine picked
Yeah.
up on one of your covers and played it on their website.
Yes. So it was crazy because I covered a Louis Tomlinson song years ago, actually. And somehow, yes,
One Direction.
yes, Louis Tomlinson of One Direction. And it was just crazy because Glamour had contacted me and said, "Hey, we love your Louis Tomlinson cover. He might be watching it. Would you come on and do a little interview with us?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, absolutely." And I got on the interview, we were talking a little bit, and all of a sudden they were like, "Well, just so you know, he actually did watch your cover, and here is him watching your cover," and showed me the video, and I freaked out. I mean, I was so shocked because I've always been a One Direction fan since I was like 13. I loved them, and Louis was one of my favorites in the band, and I was just like starstruck a little bit, but it was a cool experience, and the fact that Glamour kind of surprised me with that was even more fun. So I am still, every time people ask me about it, I just get a little starstruck all over again. So
How are you? Are you a big Halloween fan?
Yes, I love
Because
Halloween.
we're building up here. I don't think it's as big. I mean, it's got really big over here. It was never a thing when I was a kid, but I know it's always been a thing over there. And so, what do you do for Halloween? Do you dress up? Do you?
Oh, yes, 100%. Halloween is actually my favorite holiday, and I always try to go all out with the costumes, with decorating. So um, I've always had fun with that. I remember one Halloween, I think it was a couple years ago, I had like a bunch of parties that people had invited me to. So I had four different Halloween costumes. Instead of just keeping the same one, I was like, I got to be something different for all the parties. So it's just one of my favorite holidays, and I love scary movies. So
So you binging scary movies as well?
I am. I just finished watching Scream 4. So
God.
I'm a big
Do you watch them on your own?
sometimes, yeah, which maybe I'm a little crazy for doing that, but
So I was going to ask you about your writing process. I think it's fair to say probably it's sort of autobiographical. It's about things that have happened to you that you can relate to. Is that a fair comment?
yeah, everything that I write is, well, a lot of it is about like actual experiences that I've had, and I think it's just easier to write that way for me. I can kind of dig into the emotion more, and I just enjoy writing about all the experiences I've had. But I there's definitely moments where, if I am writing with somebody else, I'm trying to, combine my experiences with theirs and their emotions, and so you kind of have to find like a balance. And as a writer too, if I'm writing for another artist, I kind of have to channel their feelings, but it varies.
Mm. Got a question now that we like to ask everybody. If you got a call tomorrow from an agent and he said, I want you to do a gig, I want you to headline it, can be anywhere in the world, any arena, club, venue, whatever.
That's such a hard question. I don't know. I mean, I think I obviously want to go overseas. I mean, I'd love to go to the UK to hopefully play in an arena there. I love Italy as well. I visited there. Um, but I don't know. It'd be so hard to pick. I mean, it'd be cool to even just open at the Bridgestone here in Nashville, which is like a really popular arena here, just because I've seen some of my favorite artists perform there. But it's so hard to decide because I want to travel everywhere and get to meet everybody. So
And okay, that's fair. And as if a part of this setup, you could have someone co star in it with you, someone who was, you'd be on stage alongside and having them sing with you, support you, back you up, whatever. Um, who do you think you'd like that to be?
gosh, it's so hard. I think I would want to bring somebody that was on the pop side just because I think it'd be a fun balance. But I think I would want to tour with Julia Michaels. She's been like a really big influence for me, and I just think it would be a really cool show. And I'm just so inspired by her songwriting that I would love to tour with her.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you about the last piece of music of yours we're going to play, Chicago.
Yeah, so I just recently wrote that song not too long ago, and kind of the concept behind it was, after going through this breakup that I had last year, um, I had like heard that the guy had started seeing another girl, and it was just kind of that idea where you're kind of just in your head all the time thinking about it, and you're like, I wonder if he had like feelings for her before like we ended our relationship, or you know is this just nothing and I'm overthinking it. So it's kind of just that phase you go through after a breakup when you're just wondering all the what ifs and like the possibilities of everything. And it was a really emotional song, and I kind of hope that you know people can hear that and feel that in the music.
Okay, because in your bio, just going back to your current single, it says that, you know, after this single, or no, this was the first single of a
Right.
project. So
Yeah.
is the project going to be an EP, an album,
No, I'm
or
trying
just
to.
a series of singles? Or are you not telling us?
I am trying to not, I am trying to keep it a little secret, but I will be releasing a bunch of singles. I will say that in the next couple of months. I'm hoping to release a single at the top of the year next year. I'm really pumped about just getting the final touches on uh, the production and everything. So yeah, I can't wait to share it with people. And I'm trying to like not say anything, but it's so hard because I get so excited. But there is new music coming. I will say that.
Okay, we won't pressure any more on that, but that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
What's next for you then? You've already said you're working on these singles. Is that going to keep you busy for the next few months? You've done one date recently. Are there any more booked in?
Yes, so I'm definitely going to be in the studio a lot the next couple of months, and I'm hoping to do some more performing. I already have a show coming up in November that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm hoping next year, as things start to open up again, I can play even more shows, and I'm just going to be writing for whatever's next for me, which is crazy to think because I wrote What's His Name a year ago, and it's just coming out now. You just keep writing for the next thing. But
Yeah.
I'm super excited for everybody to hear the new music.
It must be a funny feeling, isn't it? You wrote What's His Name a year ago. You've written some songs that maybe we'll be talking about with you in another year's
I
time.
know it's crazy to think, but that's how it works. It takes a while to release a song.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And you mentioned the UK. You know, is that something that you would obviously something you'd like to do? Is it likely to happen?
I would love to if it makes sense, and I started meeting more people and more places that I could perform and or come and do interviews like this. You know, I would love to if it made sense. I'd love to come. Hopefully, when all this COVID stuff is over, like we were
Yeah.
talking about, I'll be able to do that. So,
Well, if you do come to the UK, we're just in North London, so you'd be more than welcome, and it would be great to
oh,
have you play live in our studio.
yes, and I'd love to meet you in person.
And you too. Thank you very much, Amanda, for talking to us today and playing your songs. And wish you all the best for the future. And yeah, maybe catch up with you again, maybe in the UK. Who knows?
Yes, who knows? And thank you so much for having me. It means so much to me. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.
You were there, I breathed, kept me on my feet like a teenage dream, forever feeling 17. But guess you never saw us growing old. Maybe you left me a long time ago. Am I thinking too much? 'Cause you were all about us. Did you leave me in June? Or did you leave me in Chicago? Did you stay in a house me sleep. But honestly, anything would fill the spaces in between. Wish you'd tell me what to think. Did you leave me in Chicago? Did you stay in a high-rise? Didn't she know you like I know you? Were your fingers running through her hair? Did you give her your jacket? And did she whisper to you, I love you? Do I wanna know what happened? Did you leave me in June? Or did you leave me in Chicago? Did you leave me in Chicago? I gotta know. Am I thinking too much? Did you even think about us? Was it